if there was ever a colorway that is nice, but absolutely doesn't need to exist, it's probably this one. Nike Air Foamposite 1 Deep Royal. The shoe is dropping sometime in fall. The release date has not been confirmed yet, but it is dropping for $240 in the United States. And of course, very reminiscent to the OG Royal colorway. That is just probably the best Foamposite colorway ever. I know Galaxies, a lot of people love. There's a bunch of other ones like the Supreme foams are really special as well. The Pearls are beautiful. Those are coming at the end of the year. But Royals, due to the historical significance of that colorway, first colorway to drop on a very, very special and kind of unique shoe that no one had ever seen at the time. Yeah, that one's special. This one, very similar to it, so it's hard not to compare. But if I just remove that colorway, look at this in a vacuum, it's honestly a very good looking shoe. This dark blue, for me, I actually do prefer this shade over like that kind of shiny, brighter blue. If you just like put them side to side, I would actually pick the darker shade of blue. But like with a lot of hobbies, especially hobbies that require or involve collecting, you don't have to collect sneakers, but it is part of this hobby, part of this fandom. A lot of it is down to like the story behind a shoe, the context and the history behind a shoe that kind of increases how we view them. But you can't really remove the significance of the Royal colorway. But I will say, side by side, just if I knew nothing about sneakers, this is nice. This dark shade is really nice. And the upper of the shoe, it is Foamposite material. And unlike the Royal colorway, this is kind of got like a matte finish to it. So it doesn't have that shiny kind of reflective sheen to that. I personally do like kind of a more muted and kind of matte finish to my Foamposites, even though this just can't compare to a very historically significant and OG colorway like the Royals. A Foamposite material, if you didn't know, it is made by heating up polyurethane to around 175 degrees Fahrenheit. They pour it into a very expensive mold, and once that liquid cools, forms this very unique shape. And the reason why Foamposites are absurdly expensive, just drains your pockets. It's because that mold is super, super costly. And the shape is actually inspired by a beetle, and Foamposite material itself, it is very durable. It is one of those shoes where the more you wear it, the more it breaks in and kind of molds to your feet. Part of the problem though is that it does have a kind of longer break-in time, so you really have to be patient when you first put your feet into this. Might feel kind of weird if you've never tried on a Foamposite before, but once you get used to it, it's a very unique and special material. And the eye stays here, that is actually not like the Durabuck that came with the OG Foamposites. At one point, foams did come with like that synthetic leather. They replaced the Durabuck that came with originals. A lot of people didn't like that. They changed it back. However, for this release, as well as, there was another Foamposite that used this material. It's got like this kind of smooth fabric type of feel to the eye stays. It is not Durabuck. It is not like synthetic leather. So it feels slightly different. And of course, you get that little mini swoosh on the lateral side of the shoe as well. And moving up the tongue, you get a mesh tongue with the penny 1 cent logo that is like jeweled in the middle of the tongue there. And Penny Hardaway, if you didn't know, the story goes, so he was meeting with Nike executives and he saw a sample of the foams that was originally meant for Scottie Pippen. He was like, I don't care who this is for, but I want it. So they basically like made Penny the face of the foams, even though it is not technically like part of his signature shoes. However, it is synonymous with Penny Hardaway, and this 1 cent logo is still one of the best athlete logos from Nike of all time. Very, very unique. And another place you see that is on the booty of the shoe that is just like stitched on the back there. And foams do come with 2 pull tabs. I think that is one too many, but as I get older, when it gets a little harder to like bend down and really stuff your feet into a shoe, pull tabs do really come in handy. And you'll see this tongue is actually part of like an entire inner booty system, and I'll get to more on sizing and comfort later, but that also kind of hugs and wraps around your feet very nicely. And this shoe doesn't come with any extra laces. I can't remember the last time a foam came with extra laces, at least since I've been reviewing shoes on this channel. But yeah, the only other color that would have made sense is blue. Out of the two, I would have gone with black anyway. And in terms of the cushioning of the foams, it does come with a full-length Zumia unit and it is actually double stacked. So on the heel, there's an extra one. So pretty good cushioning, especially for the time. It does have a carbon fiber shank as well. You'll see it right there, which means this shoe, in terms of torsional rigidity, very solid. Doesn't bend very easily, doesn't twist very easily. Very good for injury purposes. As someone that just broke their foot, you really want stability and support in your basketball sneakers. And the outsole here, it is pretty standard for a foam, just herringbone traction. It's got this IC type of material on the outside. And this material, even though it works very well on like a clean gym, does pick up dust quite easily. So if you're thinking about playing like indoors using a Foamposite, just keep that in mind. However, everything else, absolutely beautiful. And just in case you forget what type of cushioning is used in a foam, you guys doing me a branding on the top of the outsole. And the insole of the shoe, it is just Nike Air branded, and it is just hot trash. And the box of the shoe, nothing too special at all, just a black Foamposite box. Nothing too special inside as well, just Nike paper. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer for foams. I generally just go true to size. I do prefer like very snug fits, even though I have big fat wide feet. I just don't love a lot of heel slippage. It can feel pretty tight if you have wide feet when you first put a foam on, but remember, give it time, let the material break in, mold to your feet. You could go up half a size if you have wide feet, if you don't want to like wait and you prefer like a looser feel anyway. However, for me, I do still stick true to size. If you don't have wide feet, I think you can go true to size as well. In terms of overall comfort, it is a very comfortable shoe after you give that break in time initially. And underfoot, it does feel kind of different to like modern day kind of walking and running shoes. It's kind of flat to the ground. The carbon fiber plate might be a little too stiff for some people, depending on their preference. I will say the ankle collar are kind of thin. It's not like super, super padded. They do feel pretty bulky, pretty heavy, pretty chunky. Bricks on feet. It is a shoe that came out before the year 2000. So you're not going to get like the best kind of weight saving technology on the shoe. Just keep that in mind. And that brings the total sole score of the Foamposite Deep Royal to 30 out of 40. Pretty good score compared to other general releases. First, it is colorway. It is a nice colorway. I don't think it is legendary. It is just like a general release, not an OG colorway. The Royal, I gave 8 out of 10 because of the history, because of how significant that colorway was. But this is very nice too. And in terms of the materials, foams are just one of a kind. It is durable, it molds to your feet. There's nothing like it. Yeah. Hard to hate the materials on this. If it wasn't for my like preference and love for really nice quality leather, how it feels on feet, how it feels like to the touch, I would give this a 10 out of 10. But because I do know like just luscious, delicious suede, nubuck, or leather, or forms of leather, by the way, that do exist, I can't give it the same. And in terms of the comfort, I think the one thing that holds this shoe back is, well, two things. The weight, especially in 2025. And number two is just the break-in period. It is long, you gotta be patient, and it might feel just kind of weird if you've never worn this and really broken one in. But after, I think it is a very comfortable shoe. And in terms of the versatility, I think foams are just a little too chunky and bulky looking. Very different. People definitely will like notice if you're wearing them. If you don't like know anything about sneakers, you'd be like, it's kind of a futuristic looking type of shoe. Still, even in 2025, it looks very different. So I don't think it's the most wearable like shape, just in a vacuum, but in terms of the wearability of the colorway, super wearable. That matte look and the darker shade of blue, I definitely think it actually kind of adds to the versatility of the colorway. It is just impossible to not compare this colorway to the Royal colorway, but it doesn't mean this shoe can't stand on its own. I will always prefer OGs over non-OGs, just as appreciator of sneaker history. Those just have to have a special place in my heart. But removing all that, putting this on a shelf, I think this looks mighty nice. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Nike Air Foamposite 1 Deep Royal. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.